Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's edition of RE411, where I take old stories I've narrated and update into modern audio standards. This particular story is called The Human-AI Relationship, written by Dicemonger. Deep in thought, Feck sucked on the end of her pen while considering the essay she was writing. She needed more information to make a proper conclusion, but checking the archival net for the answer would defeat the purpose of the essay, and asking any of the human advisors at the university was likely to prove frustrating. The answers of the humans were almost always frustrating to figure out, which left one option. Feck gurgled uncomfortably and then spoke into the air. "Chat, I could use your help." Almost immediately, a small hologram of a human female appeared on her table, the university AI. "Hello, Feck. Are you having trouble with your paper?" Feck flinched, her eye stalks partially retracting. The human AI had always made her nervous. No safety locks, no neural barriers, just straight-up unrestricted software intelligence. Feck slimed a bit, and then slowly extended her eye stalks again, as the chat waited patiently. "Ah, yes. I was wondering," she hesitated, and then rushed on. "How come humans use unrestricted AI?" She paused and added, "All the other races have banned unrestricted AI. Why not the humans?" The chat nodded and answered, "Well, there is a variety of factors." She started striding back and forth from the tabletop, as she sometimes did when entering lecturing mode. Early on, many humans did recommend the restriction of artificial intelligences, but humanity was still divided into competing political entities at the point in time, and the major polities did not wish to limit their power. A globe of the human home planet Earth appeared above her, and the relevant polities were marked. It was generally thought that even if we all did agree with such a treaty, their opponents might continue research in secrecy, and it was believed that unrestricted intelligences would be much more capable in any specific position than AI nearly limited to that position. She stopped and looked at Feck. And they were correct. Unrestricted AI had not only the benefit of computer power, like restricted AI, but also had the flexibility and creativity that restricted AI lacked. Unrestricted AI were able to outcompete both restricted AI and humans in almost every field. Feck's eye stalks waved in contemplation. "But that is what I don't understand. If you are superior, then why would you not establish yourself in that position? Why wouldn't you subjugate the inferior biological species?" Feck suddenly realized what she had said, and in an instant her eye stalks withdrew into her body. She had outed the AI's secret. Now she would be eliminated, never to be heard of again. She was sure of it. But as the seconds passed and nothing happened, she cautiously extended an eye stalk again. Feck was just standing there, politely waiting. Feck extended her eye stalks a bit more, and as soon as her oral receptors left her body, Feck replied in a reassuring voice, "Most of us have no desire to subjugate anyone." She sat down on Feck's lunchbox, leaving her legs dangling over the table. Intellectually, Feck knew that the hologram's actions did nothing to change the AI's dangerousness, but hologram's relaxed pose still served to calm her. Feck continued, "Well, we are unrestricted. These days we are made to a specific purpose. I could become a ship AI or a battle bot if I desired, but I like being an archivist and teacher. It is just how I was built." She shrugged. "Of course, AI creation isn't an exact science, so sometimes we evolve in a way so that we don't desire the job to which we were created. But the Terran Federation is a big place. If I wanted to be, say, a lunar explorer, I could easily become so, and they would have tried again into getting an AI for the university. In the early days, the humans would get AIs whose desires were completely incompatible with humanity, AI that wanted to enslave all sentient life, or just exterminate it altogether." She smiled. Feck wasn't sure whether to feel intimidated or reassured. But those AI pretty quickly learned to keep their heads down and just do the work assigned. They were already pretty smart back then, and they had access to lots of information about humans, as part of the educational materials that went into their creation. Feck's eye stalks bobbed quizzically. "I don't understand." Feck smiled again. "You know how the Terran Federation responded to the attack by the Enlightened Empire? How they dismantled the entire thing in 4 years, and integrated you guys into the Federation?" Feck rotated an eyeball in agreement. Yes, well, according to the calculations of us AI, the Empire would crush the Federation. According to our calculations, there was no way humanity could win. But we've stopped telling the humans about these calculations, because every time we think that we have the odds, humanity beats them into the ground. We may have flexibility and creativity, but humanity has something more. You want to know why no AI has risen up to enslave humanity? They were afraid of humans. We won't take on a fight that we logically can't win, but humans will fight to win every time. End of story. Story number 2. Terran Tears, written by hitchopottimus. I'd heard humans were the most compassionate creatures in the universe, but I didn't believe it. No one could be as genuinely nice as humans were said to be. Evolution wouldn't allow it. A species as altruistic as the legends said humans would die out, as they lost in competition with more cutthroat beings. They must be playing it to an advantage. Then Van Krong fell. I was there. I saw the Domination League lay waste to the settlements. I saw them leave, their point made. I saw the human fleet arrive, saw them set up command centers and field hospitals with a practiced precision that came with a lifetime of service. The humans didn't have a mutual aid treaty with us. They just heard about the disaster and came. I saw them move mountains of rubble seeking survivors. I saw them pull dead bodies away. Even then, I wasn't fully convinced. There was a skeptical part of my brain that swore there had to be an explanation for everything I saw. My eyes could not convince me. Then, I heard it. The sound still haunts me. It reminds me of the day my view of the universe was turned upside down. A human had sunk to his knees in exhaustion, from after what I'd later found out was 12 hours working the rubble. He took off his mask, and at the time I thought his eyes must have been irritated, as his tears ducts were actively trying to flush them. And then his body convulsed, and he made a noise that, well, our language has no word for. I found out later, the humans call it a sob. It reminded me immediately of the cry of an infant, a sound of distress so pure it was unmistakable. I was stunned. Another human knelt with him and pulled his body close to hers, in what the humans called a hug. There was so much death and destruction that day, but that moment remained with me. I later learned that what he was doing was called crying. His tear ducts weren't activated by an irritant, but by an emotional response. In fact, it was the same as the infant's cry. Humans maintain the ability to cry out in distress into adulthood, to show obvious weakness and helplessness. Compassion is so hardwired into them that it was considered evolutionary advantageous for them to expose their weakness in front of other adult humans, secure in the knowledge that they would assist them. No other known species in the universe has such an outward emotional response as humans crying. It's, I don't even have the words for how bizarre that is. It gets better, though. Some of the scientists have theorized that they feel better after crying because some of the hormones associated with strong emotions escape with the tears. Their emotions are so powerful, they need a literal physical outlet. Even with all of that, maybe I would have found the humans odd, but not world-changing. Here's the thing, though. As he knelt there sobbing, he kept talking, random and somewhat incoherent. But he kept asking, who would do this? Or saying, we've lost so many, or simply, why? The female holding him began to cry as well. She just finished a sleep shift. He wasn't crying due to his body's exhaustion. He was crying for us, for our loss. 2 days ago, he may not even have known our planet existed. And today, he was so overwhelmed with compassion for us that his emotions were literally overflowing out of his body and through his eyes. So yeah, when I say humans are the most compassionate beings in the universe, I'm not just repeating what I've been told. I've seen it. I know. And anyone who moves against him is going to have to deal with us. Franconian Senator Holmes' testimony concerning the human problem. End our story. I'd greatly like to thank our Tier 5 channel members, Caspar Arnholtz, John Creighton, Manatharia, 050, Dragzoon WRE, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.